Hey there folks, Toby here. So here's something quite interesting you can do with the Divisimate plugin. So what this allows you to do is take a very simple chord voicing and remap each of the notes of that chord to different sounds, different ranges. And this is very advantageous when you're doing sort of orchestral writing, is that you can create these really massive spread voicings over different sections of a string section, all with a simple chord. Now, I've only ever seen people use this tool with orchestral sounds, and I was just thinking to myself, why can't you do this with synth sounds? And I've never really seen anybody do this, and as it turns out, it is really very effective. So I'll give you a quick example here. I've got 4 sounds that I've made in Diva, so I'm going to play some 4-note chords, and Divisimate is going to split those chords up and route each different note to a virtual port in the Divisimate plugin, which can then be picked up by the synths. So let's hear an example. So that's quite a nice kind of rich textural sound we have there, made out of 4 distinct synth sounds for each note. So let's have a look at how we set this up in Logic. So the Divisimate plugin is inserted onto a channel as an instrument, and when you insert this, Divisimate in the background makes a bunch of virtual ports. So each of the synths we have here can be addressed by those virtual ports as a MIDI input. So on my first sound, I have port 1 loaded, and this is assigned to the top note of the chord. And you can see here that the second synth has port 2, and the third synth has port 3, etc. So if we look at the Divisimate Micro plugin, we can see these are the notes or the voices of the chord, and these are routed to Divisimate's virtual ports, which I obviously haven't named. Now you can set up the virtual ports in the kind of extension here, and I have Divisimate Micro selected. Now it's quite important to get the input to Divisimate Micro right, and I'm using the Next MIDI merger port, which allows you to just have specific controllers go to it. Otherwise you can get kind of MIDI feedback loops. I'm sending this my complete control SA88, and also I have a 4-channel MIDI fader. I can still send controller information to all of the synths at the same time. So this includes modulation, polypressure, and Divisimate will actually transmit all of this information to each voice. So in Diva, like all my sounds that I make have a pretty similar kind of MIDI controller setup, where I use mod wheel, expression, kind of a lot of breath control and pressure. So each synth is going to react in a different way to the controller values coming in, but because each synth is doing something a little bit different, it can create quite a lot of interest. It's also quite nice combining sounds because you're never sure what it is you're going to get. Now, one of the really cool things about Divisimate is that you can transpose each note of the chord if you want, and this is what allows you to get these really big spread voices. So you can see my bass note here is transposed down 2 octaves, And the cool thing about that is I can play my chord around, you know, the C3 region, but when I play the bass note, which is C3, it comes out as C1. Now this is really useful when you're composing because you want that bass to be right down the bottom, but that would take two hands to do normally. What you want to do is be able to play it with one hand and have the other hand for controllers and stuff. Now at the moment I have Divisimate set to assign notes from bottom up. So the lowest note goes to port 4. If I add another note, it's going to go to port 3, another note port 2, and then the last note will go to port 1. And it's actually pretty consistent in the way that it maps these things when you play a 4-note chord. And I've got some of these other voices transposed down as well. I think the top note is transposed down an octave. And this is just a really nice way to revoice a chord. Now this is very helpful if you want to play an entire string section in one go, because you can play the simple triad, but you can put your contrabass down a couple of octaves, your cello down an octave, keep the violas where they are, and then transpose your strings up, and you can get these massive sounding chords with one hand. So this is a really useful tool to have. I think Divisimate Micro is like $49. There are bigger versions of Divisimate that you can get. But one interesting thing that you can actually do is the notes don't have to be long. You could assign one of these synths to, a rhythmic pattern like an arpeggiator. In fact, all of them could be different arpeggiators. So let's assign an arp sound and let's try this out and see what it sounds like. So as you can imagine, you can create some pretty complex scenarios using Divisimate. So some notes can be long, some notes can be rhythmic patterns. And I think overall as like a sound design utility and also a performance utility, it's pretty cool. So that's all I got for you this time. I'll see you next time.